Okay, yeah, very good evening to all of you. All right, yeah, good evening, Sashi. Good evening, Ambika. Yes, I just believe some of them might be busy in between. It's all right. So just do let me know if there's any issue today. I just believe there wouldn't be an issue. And yes, thank you so much, guys. I'm much better now. So let's proceed. And I know I'm pretty sure that many of you are having your internals in the coming week. So I will do my best to wind up by tomorrow. All right. So officially we should wind up tomorrow, and the rest will be recorded sessions. Okay. So whatever I'm going to do will just be there. Maybe I will stream it. There won't be attendance, wouldn't be compulsory again. All right. Yep. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, because I know many of you might want to hang out tomorrow to welcome the new year. That doesn't prevent us from studying, right? So we wind up around 8 o'clock and that's it. And yes, whatever it is, this class cannot go beyond 8 p.m. Okay, it can go beyond 8 p.m. Okay, so let's get back. So what are we doing today? We are going to look into web scraping. All right. So what we what we want to do today is we try to answer questions by taking help from Google. All right. And then trying to look at some other, from the perspective of other people as well, right? What they got to say about this. Yes or no? So we know for sure there are legal issues to scraping data, and which you're going to see in a while, all right? Because if I have a website, I don't want you to start toying with it, right? Trying to understand the structure of my website, trying to dig deep into it. What exactly are you trying to do, right? So in the subsequent tutorials, we'll be doing some complex or what do you call this, web scraping operations using most of the methods. No problem. And then we look at the installation of the basic requirements. So what I always emphasize is don't bother about what you have to install, okay? Prior to running the program. In case if you get an error that this model is not available or something like that, you can just install it, right? So don't bother about how many modules I have to install. So do I need to install TensorFlow? Someone asked. Okay, so you don't need that now. Don't bother about anything for now. When we get there, we will see. Okay, and then how do we actually raise exceptions? We have to handle the exceptions. Okay, in most cases here, and then we try to raise them. Okay, and then how we save contents of web. Okay, which is very important. And introduce Selenium and do some web scraping using Selenium also. Web scraping. Okay, all right, using Selenium. Okay, so having said that, let's just start. I'll take help from Google, and I'm going to maximize my screen. And remember, in the previous class, I'm going to repeat it because it was buffering in between. Yes, Tiksha, welcome. It was buffering in between, right? So I don't know what you understood. So because of that, we need to kind of review everything which we've done. All right. So we look into what? Web scraping. I think web scraping using BeautifulSoup. But before that, right, we needed to understand what web scraping was all about. I think that was how we started. All right. So we looked into web scraping, okay? And why do people do that actually? Is it even legal, right? So somebody is even asking this, right? Is web scraping a crime? Let's start from here. So though people say it's not legal, all right? But again, a great example is when you scrape these. See, a great example when web scraping can be illegal is when you try to scrape non-public data. That leads us to the next question. What is public and what is non-public? Do we bother to... I'm going to show you a website now. Okay, I'm going to show you a website. So look at this site. Say NASA. Let's take this example. Now, how many of us even bother to look at... I'm going to show you this section, okay? So if you look at NASA, what comes to our mind? Space exploration. So we just be looking at this. But they have facts, privacy. I mean, most websites have this. How many of us have ever bothered to look at this, right? We don't do that, right? So see here, okay? Many of them, we put this out for you, right? Privacy policy, security notice, and all whatnot, okay? So regarding the nature, purpose, and use, okay, I beg your pardon, regarding the nature, purpose, use, and sharing of any information collected via this web, right? Now, let's look at something that has to do with clinical data sets, all right? Let's go back here, and I'm going to show you, say, maybe like National Institute of Health.gov.in.ng. I think National Institute of Health. Do they have privacy stuff? So, Freedom of Information Act, okay? They didn't have a specific page called privacy or something like that, all right? So no fear act. Okay, do we even, I've not even looked at it, I for one. But what interests me is this page, you see. So because of that, we should be very careful, we shouldn't be fiddling with people's, what do you call it, repository, because these contain vital information, right? Which, they have highlighted it here. So we cannot claim that we don't know that such a thing existed and scraping is not that legal. Hence, though it's considered not legal, it's generally illegal, okay? But we should tread that part with caution, all right? Now, having said that, we know, now let's look at what web scraping is. So it says here, fine, right? So we can actually take care from this guy, okay? We do directly access this, but why do we scrape that? To maybe take some meaningful information, okay? And how do we actually use it? So I think this was where we looked at. We looked at this, and we looked at this as well, all right? Having said this now, we understood some terms, right? That is a process of doing this, and then I think this person was the one who explained the term, right, in a different way, called what? Web data extraction, or what? Web or data scraping. Okay, so remember, scraping is different from scrapping, right? If you permit me to pronounce it, I hope I'm not. So scrap, this is a scrap, right? So
scrap.
Okay.
Scrap.
All right, scrap. So this is like a fragment or piece of something that is not valued, right? So that's not what we are talking about. However, how do you pronounce this?
Scrape.
Scrape, right? Okay, fine. So I might be saying web scraping, but anyway, you got the point. Scrape. So it's like you rake, you drag, you push, you brush, you sweep. So in this case, we are kind of raking an entire website, right? So we just, what we mean by raking? You use a rake, right? This tool. Fine. So we rake things and then we, grab it, something like this, okay, trying to remove some unnecessary, maybe like some flour debris or something like that. Okay, you have seen them. So this is it, and we know what we are actually looking into is what we call what? Data scrapping. Fine. So, and we saw this in the previous class, but by way of explanation, let's look at this again. So it's useful if, see the condition, if the public website you want to get data from doesn't have an API, or it does but provides only limited access to the data. Fine. So you might feel free to look at this process of collecting structured web data in an automated fashion. So we know the data we are looking at is structured, but many of the world's data is unstructured. Hence, when we are scraping, we should be able to write it in a way that it can be schematized, represented in a form that we can actually save this, right? Mine this and use it for meaningful what? What do you call it? Analysis data. Fine. And some of the main use cases of this includes what? Price intelligence, as you know, right? Flipkart versus Amazon versus Myntra versus whatever. Okay. So who wants to give? They want to leverage on their customer database, right? Okay. So trying to give us a competitive advantage over other competitors. No problem. News monitoring, right? Lead generation, market research or market analysis or whatever, even retention policy, trying to know so many things. So now that is it. Now, why is this popular, right? So because of what? We know one thing, right? Data is readily available, right? And most of them, so you see here, it can also give us web data from any public website, right? Hence, if I want to design maybe like a clone of maybe, what do you call it? A clone of Amazon, I better understand how Amazon was designed. How the site was designed differently, okay, or how they did it differently. So now, what is this data, scraping good for? We have said it, right, for extraction or something like that. But once we extract data without turning it into meaningful information, it doesn't make sense. That's why you see commercial organizations, banks and or whatnot, they use it to check the pricing of their competitors, right? Leverage on competitive advantage and things like that. And fine, making intelligent decisions also, fine. So applications of this don't end there. There are n number of reasons actually why we do scraping, fine. So the basis of it starts with your crawler and your scraper, fine. That means that we are kind of going to use some stuff, some selectors. And that's why if you see here, web scraper is a specialized tool, right? Designed to accurately and quickly extract data from a web page. So at a larger scale or at an industrial scale, fine. Let me not use industrial now. We are not mechanical engineers. Let's say at an economic scale, where we are kind of mine huge data for gain. We kind of use automated tools for that. right? But as maybe as passion, you might want to know how these tools are being automated or how the automated tools work. Fine. So an important part of this scraper is, is the data locator or selector used to whatever find the data that you want to extract from HTML. Usually what? Expert, CSS selectors, regex, and a combination of both. So majorly we'll be looking at this and CSS selectors. So what these tools are, we will look at them very soon. Okay. Now, and that's it. And so many things you can actually see here. And here there was what they said in market research, market trend analysis, market pricing, optimizing point of this, competitive monitoring, and then this is in price intelligence, dynamic pricing, whatever. And then in alternates, okay, as an alternates data for finance, obviously news monitoring, in real estate, you see there, news and whatever, in lead generation, in brand monitoring, in everything, right? So cool. If that holds true, okay, we now need to look at the tools that enable us to do that now, scraping. Okay, so you got an idea of what it is, fine, and you see search engines, or we call them search giants like, Google, because what comes to our mind now, if you say, instead of me to say search it, search for it, I say Google it, right? Search for it, Google it. So they have their own intelligent board that does this, fine. But as engineers or as somebody who's passionate about knowing what happens or how this thing happens, it's also good if you try prototyping it. It's not, it's not a bad idea. Okay, agreed? Okay, cool. So, and this was kind of things that happened behind the hood, right? And we have actually seen this. But don't forget, in case if you just joined me for the first time and you are from the city of Wakanda, you should understand that scraping, though is considered illegal, can also be legal. Ensure you understand, whether they have any constraints, okay? As in this case, I'm showing you NASA, okay? So there are so many websites that have something like this. Hence, whatever I'm going to do it on my own personal website. Fine? Okay, cool. So we got the idea of what it is. Now let's start, all right? That leads us to what now? Some web scraping, whatever, tools, right? So we know three things comes to our mind, right? When we say web scraping, one, we call it what? BeautifulSoup, and another one we use what? Selenium. But before that, let me just do a Google search, okay? There are three of them actually, the main competitors. But let me just do a Google search on Selenium. You will understand what Selenium was used for initially. So if you look at this Selenium, okay? So you see, it's an open source umbrella project for a range of tools and libraries aimed at supporting web browser automation. So we use it for testing. So you can majority, okay, I know most of my friends, they use Selenium as a testing tool. However, see here, it's not only for testing, it encompasses what? Broad range of what? Libraries that, help you to do some task. Okay, guys, so that's why it's not only for your okay, but Selenium is a tool which you use for testing, no problem. That's why if you get here, you see here for user interface automation testing suite. Okay, so one of them. But if you just do a simple Google search on Selenium, you see it is kind of like an umbrella software. It's like Apple, right? Apple, the company, obviously has other products also. They have mobile phones to their hood, they have under their hood, I beg your pardon, they have laptops, they have other products which they develop as well. Hence, only that, is not what they do. If that holds true, we must have heard of what? BeautifulSoup. And what? Selenium and another one, right? So I think that was, there was comparison. Yes, Scrappy, okay? We saw this, but these guys wants me to pay. So let's look at this, okay? Scrappy versus BeautifulSoup versus Selenium. Why is it that I'm not sure, but to the best of my knowledge, many of the tutorials revolve around Selenium and BeautifulSoup and not Scrappy, right? So, okay, you might say Scrappy, sir. Okay, sorry, I pronounce it like Scrappy. But if you go down here, you look at this summary. So which should you use, right? Scrappy, BeautifulSoup, or Selenium? Now, you see, all of the three web scraping libraries are all open source and completely free to use, so it's a plus. Now, with this, money is not a deciding factor. Agreed? Now, each of them has community of developers supporting it. Hence, you cannot say maybe there are no developers, fine. So you have access to what? Enormous what? Research and development team. So which ones do you now? They depend on the project requirement. So if your project is complex, Scrappy is the tool to go for. Okay. Now, that's why here we are not looking into Scrappy. We are only looking into what? BeautifulSoup and what? Selenium. Fine. So this is because it's a framework designed for handling complex web scraping tasks. Fine. All right. So the rest, you feel free to go through them because I find most of these blogs interesting. However, since you're going to look at this guy, BeautifulSoup, so we need to understand, and Selenium, right? So we need to understand why it's called beautiful. It can be called ugly soup, or it can also be called soup. Okay, guys? So at times I try to ask this question, why is it called BeautifulSoup, right? Why can't it be called soup, like Scrappy, or what do you call it? Scrappy or Selenium? Why BeautifulSoup? I don't know. Okay, so you see here, it's a model that can be used to pull data out of what? HTML and XML. Oh, wow. Does it mean that this guy cannot pull data out of HTML and XML? It can, obviously, okay? But this implements multi-threaded and all whatnot, and it is kind of what? 20 times faster than other scraping tools. Which one? Scrapy. Hence, you see, since it is this, right? So it is what? Beginner friendly, okay? That's one of the kind of the take also we can get from here, right? So it doesn't have the capability of sending web requests. You got the point? Hence, you see why in this tutorial we're going to switch from BeautifulSoup to what? Selenium. Because this guy does not have the what? Of sending that request. However, you'll be able to make use of this request model, okay, in Python, okay, blah, 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 whatever. And that's it, using this request URL, whatever. So it's important to stress this point, okay? Yeah, you got the point. Because of that, now you get to what? Selenium. Now, if you get to Selenium, you see, it wasn't meant for web scraping, right? It was actually developed for what? Web testing. Fine. Okay. However, it has been incorporated into scraping because it can send requests. Can you see that? Which you can pull from the HTML document, as you do with what? Document object manipulation. I think DOM API. You got the point? So this is the reason why we have to go with what? Selenium in most cases. Got it? Now, the major advantage this has over the two is that it loads what? JavaScript, obviously, because DOM works mostly with JavaScript API. It's actually JavaScript API, no problem. So you see, that help you access data behind JavaScript without necessarily going through the pain of sending additional requests yourself. So you got the point. So as you know, JavaScript is the language of most websites, right? JavaScript on the front end, JavaScript on the back end, JavaScript everywhere, all right? So this era of web development is like kind of what, loaded, okay, actually overloaded with what? JavaScript technology. Because of that, Selenium, you know, is better. And you see here, it's faster than BeautifulSoup, but a bit slower than Scrapy. All right, so we got this point now, and then we now start, okay? So for this, I have kept some stuff. So I'm going to show you this site. We are going to do it in two ways. First, we will scrape this site manually, and then we're going to scrape it automatically. What do I mean by that? Okay, first thing, look at this site. It's called ICHTU, which is Church of Nazarene. Okay, so this site was developed by a company called Soft Tech. Okay, so if you look at this, it's actually hosted, it's online. It's a church website, and since we have access to it and stuff like that, so it's better we kind of use it as a demo, okay? So there is no, no legal issues, nothing as such, so it's fine. All right, so as this loads, I'm going to run it offline, okay? So this is it, and then I'll go to home, I think, okay? So this is the church, and it is a very, very beautiful church located in Whitefield, all right? And with the senior pastor and lots of congregation. Okay, so a lot of people that come to that church, no problem. So this, take note of it. So we're going to go here and scrape this online. Okay, so this is the URL. Before that, we have it offline. Okay, so we start by looking into our folder. So this is how the work directly looks like. I have my folder. In this folder, I have, okay, permit me to end this. So I have this called HTS, okay? So now inside here, I have my first page, which I call my index.html, okay? So if you see, this is the one running offline. Let's compare both side by side, and this is the one online, okay? I really need to pull this guy out, okay? Keep it this way. So this is the online one, as you can see, the URL, and this is the offline one, as you can see, also the address bar here. Fine. So almost same features. Okay, okay, fine. So we will start by looking at this guy in the offline mode. Agreed? Okay. So I will minimize this for now, and we will call up our IDE. So I'll be using two IDEs for now. First, I'm going to use, okay, I'll swap this guy. 1 minute. So I'm going to use my Tony for now because I want to show most of the effects, I mean directly. After which I will go back to my PyCharm. Okay. So permit me to clear some stuff. So for now, this is it. Okay. I'm going to maybe press F5. I call it on the desktop. Fine, in the same directory. Okay, actually it's a different directory now because you can see these files are outside the working directory, right? Where I have these assets and there I have my what? All my pages, right? So I don't want hello.py. If I go to all files, I should be able to see all the HTML files as you can see here, no problem. So now I'm going to save this for now. Press F5. I call it web scraper, okay? scrapper.py, no problem. All right. Okay, so what is it that we're going to do? So before we start, there is a library which we have to install, or you call an API which we have to install. So I'll show you in various IDEs. Okay, let me start with which one? Let me start with idle. Okay, okay, I will just go with idle ideally. Okay, now if I start, let's say I start with idle and I need to install my BeautifulSoup. That's why if you come here, you see the the option, right? So I just clicked on that. By the way, sorry, I got it from here, right? Here, right? When I was looking at BeautifulSoup, okay, I just clicked on this and then that opened in a new tab. And this is what I got. Fine. So here, how do you install it? You just use your favorite pip install, right? BeautifulSoup 4. That's why we have to import it as BS4. Okay. So let's take a look at this. Absolutely. So once we install this, we can actually prototype this same thing. Okay. We look at this example. So from this, we have imported this, and here, what they actually did. Okay. Maybe after some examples, you'll be able to understand this. Okay. So we will be able to understand this. Use the BeautifulSoup method. Okay. And we inspected a CSS selector. Okay. That was a kind of a paragraph tag, as you can see, right? So this tag was there actually, okay, and then it was from a HTML page, fine. And then we use this soup.prettify. So we're going to prototype it without prettify and with prettify. You're going to see the difference. So as you can see, I believe most of you know about HTML. So you can see that this is kind of a static HTML page, consists of HTML head, whatever the body, there's some paragraph tags, some italics tags, some bold tags, some stuff, and things like that. And that's it. Okay, till here. You can also find text which is bad and stuff like that. But anyway, let's show, because this is what they have done. So all we need to do is to just do this. Okay, I'm going to copy this, minimize this back, then get back to what was that actually? It was called idle, right? So since I'm going to use this idle, I don't need to do it here, right, guys? So I better save this, right? So I will go to file. I just have my new file. Agreed? Fine. So I'm going to save this again. I think here it is run is F5, no problem. So it will prompt me to save, right? Nothing is here, okay? So I'll just do a simple save as. Please listen, guys. So this, I'm saving it, I'm running it from here, okay? I'm running it from here. But if I'm going to run it from here, then I need to go and paste my stuff in the same path. I don't want to do that mistake. I will come inside this church, no problem, okay? Now I'll just call it, demo, okay? .py. By default, it will be by .py only. Okay, cool. Now, if this holds true, I just need to do some stuff, okay? Maybe I will just try running some stuff just to see whether it's installed or not. I'll just type from, that is how we import this guy. So if you get back here, you see, once this is done, right, the first example says you have to run this, right, from BS4 import BeautifulSoup. Agreed? Then you inspect some tags, okay? So before we inspect a tag, we kind of try to open it, okay, so that you see, okay? We open that and then we will try to see the content of that, okay? So if this holds true now, I will just kind of run here. So I'll keep this side by side, sorry about that, guys. And I'll just copy paste, okay, to avoid wasting time. So Control C. Now, if I just say here, Control V, fine. Oh, sorry. that was pip install, is installed, okay, but I just want to show you just in case it's not installed, okay. So we have to do it here, okay. Now this is done. Now what I will do, I will try to just run this. Let me just see. So I must save this. Is saved. Now no problem, right? So no problem. So but in case if you get an error, okay, say I will just maybe like you get an error, so what you have to do, you have to install this. For that, you just say pip install install, okay, BeautifulSoup 4, BeautifulSoup, so I think it is SOUP 4, okay, or better still, copy it from there, okay. So you just do this, BeautifulSoup 4. Once this is done, you press enter. Okay, good observation. Now, did you notice here, guys? So here, okay, this is what I want you to take note of. Here, you cannot just say pip install here, because this is your what? Your Python what? Idle, right? So if you want to do this actually, you have to do it through your what? Command prompt. You got the point? So what I do, I just go to my CMD. You remember this, right, guys? So you might, if you want, you can run it as an administrator or something like that. Fine. And just install this here, okay. So if I do this, yeah, already satisfied, okay, guys. So this is done. So this is what I wanted to show you guys, okay, that though it looks like you can actually run it here, if you run it here, you're going to get an error. So I'll close this now. Fine. And I'm sure I have it already. Let's just start with let's continue this on my Tony, okay. So I'll close all these guys and then I'll go to Tony, okay. Now here, I will start with my stuff, okay, which says import this, no problem. And how do we actually install it in Tony? Because if you see here, guys, I'll press F5. Now it says expected an indentation, whatever. Sorry, that was not there. Press F5 here. So this ran, but what if you are using this, okay, or you are following the tutorial and you're not able to see where you install this? In this, you have an option called, you see here, tools, okay, guys. Tools, you go to you have these two options. Let me go with open system shell, okay. Once I open system shell, you see, guys, here I can actually do that pip install, okay. So I say pip install, so it's called BeautifulSoup 4. Enter. Got it? So again, I get that this requirement is already satisfied, okay. This is one option. Another option is for you to kind of go here, okay, look at this manage packages. Fine. So if I go to manage packages, just search for BeautifulSoup 4, okay, guys. So once you click on search by whatever, you're going to get it here. You see here? So it says BeautifulSoup screen scraping tool or BeautifulSoup screen scrape. See this one, screen scraping library, okay? Or this one also for that and things like that. So what I needed was for scraping, right? It doesn't matter. I needed BeautifulSoup 4, okay? So I wanted, I think, this one. So once you see it's already installed here, okay, guys? So you get it here. So this is done. Now, I know many of you might not be using this archaic or outdated IDEs. If you are using PyCharm, it's very easy, right? So in PyCharm, what do? I'll go to my PyCharm, okay? And in PyCharm, you have to go to your terminal window, and then you just do the same thing, all right? So here what we do is we just, you look at this screen, right? So you go to terminal, okay? Here you see this, okay? So I'm going to just paste that, pip install. Oh, that was the last thing in the console, okay? So please look at this guy, right? Pip install what was it? It was called BeautifulSoup, BeautifulSoup. Okay, so 4 actually. Then enter again, okay. So you now know where, okay, you see, again, already satisfied. So minimize this, no problem. So this is done. Okay, so I will just say, let's say some simple stuff now. Okay, call it simple, what do you call it? Web scraping, okay, web scraping, SCRAPING. Now this is actually offline, okay. So note that this is offline, okay. I'm doing some offline thing before I go to online. Okay. For this to happen offline, that means I have access to the folder, right? Remember, guys? So I will just do some simple, you know how we open files, right? We say with open, okay, if that is the case, I don't want to confuse you. Remember, this is the offline one which we want to get, right? And this And what do we call it? Web scraper. Ensure that you are in the same working directory. Okay, so let's go back here. It's called web scraping here, right? And then I called it web scraper. Okay, it's here, web scraper, right? .py. So I really need to come to this, right? this church, and then let me open the index.html. So I need to say hsys, right, slash something like that. Got the point? So that's where we want to go to. So I say it's open. What's the file name now? Fine. It's going to be a string by default. So I will I know that it is in another folder called thus, I think. thus, I think. Then slash, I need to go to index dot what? HTML. Fine. Now, okay. So, and you need to say, okay, fine, I need to open this in read-only mode. No problem. And yeah, that's how we do that. And then you say, okay, say maybe like as what? HTML underscore file. So I'll just maximize this so that you see as HTML underscore, I need a HTML file, no problem. So colon, fine. Now I need to store it maybe like in contents. So okay, fine, let this be there. It has to be what now? HTML underscore that dot read, fine. Okay, now I need to use what do you call it? The other IDE, so that I will get this test completion. Okay, so file dot read, fine, no doubt. So no argument inside, please. So once this is done now, I just press enter. It should go. Okay, now I really need to now say print the content of this, right? Fine. So let me just do something like this. I'll just say print content, content, fine. So we should expect something in the console. Okay, press F5. Now you see here it says ICHTHUS. Okay, no such file exists. Okay, yes, exactly. Okay, the thing was wrong actually. It was this. Sorry about that. Now it's there. Okay. Okay, so if you look at this, I need to maximize this now. Okay, maximize this. All right, sorry guys. Okay, so you see here, I just opened this and I just read it, right? Fine. So what have I done actually? I've not done anything, right? I just opened it and I just showed you what is there, okay? Now, this, I never use BeautifulSoup, as you know, right? So let's now use this guy now to read this. Agreed? So for that, while you look at this here, in this case, I will just go to this now. I was okay, fine. Let me create a soup object, okay? Soup reference points, okay, or soup variable you call it, and I'm going to use this now. Okay, so BeautifulSoup, Beautiful soup, fine, fine. Now what should I pass into it? Content, right? Now so by default this content should work. Okay, so if it doesn't work, then it will require you, it will most times it will show you through an error, which is kind of a duplicated error, which you see you can bypass, or if you want, you see. So you see here it says that this BeautifulSoup is actually not defined. Okay, so if you see, you notice what happened here. It is beautiful as capital S, though we imported, see here, import BeautifulSoup. Agreed? So it is not beautiful SOUP, small SOUP. So take note of that. Now you get back here and say, okay, fine, this is it, and that's it. Fine. Now you see the error message has changed to something else. It has changed from being an error message to being a, what do you call it, a warning. But in this case, it's still red, right? So it says, guess this, no passing. Now look here, it says no passing was explicitly specified. So if I'm using the best variable, blah, 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 I have to say what? HTML what? Dot parser. Got the point? This usually isn't a problem, but if you run this code on another system, fine. Right? So we need to use this. That's why if you see in some places we use what? LXML or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to say, okay, fine. Since you asked me to use HTML.parser, I'm going to take it as my second argument. Got the point? I was okay, fine. Take this as what? HTML.parser. Fine. Okay. I believe I spelled it correctly. It should be here. HTML.parser. Fine. Now enter. So you see those whatever warnings is being suppressed. Got it? Fine. So till here is fine. Okay. What we might want to do now is, if you look at the output of this code, did you see how the output is? The output came as what? Raw HTML file. Okay. This output came as what? Raw HTML file. Now, I really need to do what now? Prettify it. Let's go back to that tutorial which we saw previously. It says here that we can actually use this, right? Okay, so here they inspected some stuff, but here we just loaded some stuff here. Okay, you just use this soup object. That's what we did here. Fine. Or the instance of that soup, and then we just use that. Okay, so you see here, guys, no problem. But instead of using just inspecting some tag, we kind of enter the entire thing. No problem. Now let's see the effect when we prettify this, right? Fine, that's what we're going to do now. So we just say what now? Soup. Here is called what? Soup.prettify. Agreed? Fine. Say SOUP dot what? prettify, right? Fine. Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay, no need. Yeah, that's fine. So when we print this now, okay, maybe you may not be able to see my screen. For now, let me clear the entire console, guys, and then I'm going to repeat the same thing. I say SOUP. Oh, sorry, it's no longer available, I think. Let me just see SOUP. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to use this one. Okay, it's still there. Oh, it's still there. It's still there. So I'll say SOUP dot prettify. prettify. Now this is what you're going to get. Now you see something kind of is being cascaded here, right? So I'm going to maximize this now. So you see here it says wrap this text. Fine. You might not understand now, guys. So it now kept everything from, just imagine, just see what happened now. It kept it from here, right? So it's like from the beginning of the line. So to avoid all this confusion, all this unnecessary whatever at Romaha, I'm just going to move back to this IDE. Agreed, guys? So if I'm going to move back to that, so I really need to copy till here. Fine. Control C. And then I think we can say bye to this now, and then take a new working file from here. Okay. So call it playground. Fine. And yes, just paste this here. So this is where we are. Agreed? Fine. And I need to be sure that this is actually pointing to the same location. Okay, so let's run this for now. For now, I can minimize this guy. Let's just run this. Control-Shift F10. And let's see. Okay, fine. We got an output. So what I want you to pay attention to, look at how this output is kept. Got it? So this is how the output was kept. Fine. So for that, what we did was created a soup variable. So SOUP. Okay. Now in this, now we said, okay, fine, it's going to be what? This beautiful soup class. Fine. What did we do? We passed the content inside. Inside the content, what did we do? To suppress that, right? We said what? HTML what? Dot what? Parser. Dot parser. Fine. So this is done. And finally we went and we printed this. Remember? Fine. So till here is fine. So what I will do now, I will comment out this content, this print message. Okay. Now, when we print this now, so what we did was to print this. What was it? Print soup, first thing. Okay. SOUP. Fine. Let's run this and see what it gave us. So it's going to give us almost same thing. Okay. Now, but you see here, okay, it gave this. Just don't forget, guys, don't forget, from the beginning, actually the HTML page is lengthy. Okay. The HTML page is lengthy. Now, because of this, actually, okay, we use this soup. You see, we actually found here, look here, it's still not close to what I wanted to show you. It's still not close to that. But what we do now is just use this prettify method. Pay attention to this now. This will be pulled close to this, the starting of the line. Okay, that's what the prettify method does. So you see, it's already there. Fine. And then run this back. And now you see, right? So it's like everything is almost on a straight line. Okay. Okay. I think I should clear whatever I have before and just run this again. Okay. So it kind of give us a different format. That's it. Okay. Now see, I like trying to pull them, making them almost straight and stuff like that, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Now till here is fine. Let's try now to use some of the inbuilt methods that are there. Please remember, we are still doing offline scraping. We have not done online scraping. So what are all the methods that we can actually do here? Let's say we are interested, as in this tutorial, just to find a particular tag, right? So we find, so okay, so even for now they have not done find. I think find was down. We find a particular tag. See here, sorry. Okay, you can actually find a text. Fine. Okay, let's find text now. So we say soup.text. Let's find some text. So okay, fine. Print. Now I'm gonna comment this out. No problem. Okay, so if I run this, nothing should be printed. Fine. So till here, I will now say, okay, fine. Print this guy now. What is it? SOUP dot what? What was it? What was it that we want to do? We want to kind of print this, right? So we need to find what? Yes, find a particular text. Fine. So we say, okay, find what text should be inside there. What text should be inside there? I will just take this one. It's not bad, obviously. I cannot get that. I cannot get this. So I will just copy this and look for a text which you can find there. Okay. So I'll replace all this here. Now, this text, let's go to the church website. Agreed? So if you come here, I'm actually looking at this is online. I wanted offline. I'm actually looking at maybe something like welcome, right? Let's find out how many times welcome appear. Okay. So I think for now we are seeing only one, or we find maybe like study or service. Okay. Let's find service. So I'm going to look for service. SERVICE. Fine. So Control Shift F10. Let's see. So none. Oh my God. So I think let's look for welcome. It should be there actually. Control Shift F10. Oh, okay. So, okay, fine. Content, okay, fine. Okay, it's not there, but yes, I read the entire content, obviously. Obviously, that should be fine, but why didn't it get that? Okay, I will look for, maybe I will find a particular tag. Okay, so let me find a particular tag. I'll find h tag. Let me take this and find a particular tag. Maybe I find h3 tag, and let's see how many h3 tags are there for now. Okay, Control Shift F10. Okay, now I found the first H3, and you notice here, okay, in this page, on the same page, right? Remember the page we loaded was index.html, and if we keep it by the side, I think, okay. Now the question is, how do we know, right, whether this is HTML tag or something like that or things like that? You can actually view source. So this is what you do when you scrape something off online. You have to go to view source, but for now you might want to open this with Notepad or Notepad++ just to see what you have inside there. Agreed? So let's go to the index.html page. Just right click and say open with. I'm going to open this with what? Notepad++. Fine. Now, look at the Notepad++ page. I will just do a quick Control F here. I'm looking for H3. Okay, let me look for H3. Now, you see, I found the first H3, guys. So I found the first header tag. Okay, so I need to find all. Let's say I need to find all of them, right? So it says here, as you look at this guy, it says found the first occurrence from the top. The end of this document has been reached. Okay, I think it's only one. Okay, this is so it's only one H tag actually, H3 tag. So let me look for, or maybe P tag. Okay, find. Okay, one. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so I have found this first one, beginning and end. Find. Okay, this is the problem. So it's going to look for P as a text and not as a tag. You got the point now? So this would be a very wrong stuff for me. So let me only look for my H, maybe look for another tag, find H1. So first H1 and H2 had another H1. So how many H1s are there? Maybe two H1s. Now there is an issue here with this find method. That's why we have to now change it to find all. So you see, this found the first occurrence of that and it stopped there. So look at the code, fine. So because of this now, if you want to find all the H, okay, let's look at H1 and see the behavior. Control Shift F10. Now see here, whenever it encounters the first H1 tag, it's just going to stop there, right? This was on this reference thing and this tag was H1, fine. Now, what if we want to find all of the H1s? Agreed? So we need to change this method now from find one to what? Find what? All. Agreed. So you can see there. Now we are going to look at this now and just press this and then see. Okay. So you see, okay, one, I think, and it returns them as a list, guys. So what was the difference in find? The find returns the first occurrence of that, and it is like an item-wise find. Okay. So it's like an item-wise find. That's all. However, when we change this now to find all, we are going to get something. Okay, it's going to return it as a list. Fine. Yeah. So inside this list now, you got what now? So see here, the first one. Okay. And in here, then the second one. Okay, I think only 2 of them are here. Yes. Okay, I think the other tags you have all more than one. Okay, so this is it. Okay, and I guess you're able to follow. Now, what if just imagine, what if we kind of want to say, okay, fine, we want to say maybe print the text that is in this. Okay, so see here we got this, right? This find stuff. So for that, let me try to perform some stuff here. Okay, we are searching for tag. So I'm going to rewrite this as say maybe tag. Fine. Tags. Now we know what we are looking for. Tags will be what now? Soup.findAll, right? That was what we saw. So this, I want to store it in this variable called tag. Fine. Now this is done. Now what I want to do was kind of maybe to print this as maybe print the content, right? Fine. Okay, so maybe I will look into something like this as fine, for for the panel, maybe for item in tags. Okay, what I want to do, I just need to print the word as a test, say print item dot, say print item. Okay, let's just run this and see what happens. Okay, and then before I just show you what I want to do next. So no problem, fine. So this returned both now. So it's no longer as a list. I hope you're able to follow what I'm doing, right? So I want to know how many of them actually were there. Yes, there are 2 of them. But now these are the 2, right? We just returned them. This is the first one that is in index. Another one, actually this was not pointing anywhere. This was another one that is in this, welcome to this stuff. Okay, fine. So let's say I wanted the stuff, the text. Okay, the content of that, I'll just use this dot text and let's see what happens. Fine. Now you see, I am no longer, I didn't find, I mean, it did not, I beg your pardon. It no longer returns the tag, rather it returns the content of the tag. You got the point, guys? So in the first one, pay attention here, guys. In the first one, there was nothing in that, right? So that was why it returned the empty tag. Agreed? There was nothing in that. See, as you can see, okay, nothing here. Okay. However, in the second one is only welcome to, then some span tag is Church of Nazarene, right? So if that holds true, now let's only extract the textual data. Fine. Now this textual data now says now welcome to is Church of the Nazarene. Got it? Fine. So what have we done so far? We actually did some basic stuff because we know where the data is. Look here. We are able to open this data. We are able to just manipulate it using BeautifulSoup, okay, to the little extent, okay. But this is not what we wanted, right? So we don't want to use this. What everybody does is go to inspect, view page source, and things like that. So why did I take you through the naive way? Just to show you that yes, it's still also possible for you to do what? What is called web scraping on what? On an offline what data, okay, offline data set, offline websites, okay. So if that is the case, no need of working on this now. We need to get to what? Online data sets. Agreed? Fine. So let's get back online. And this is the site we are interested in now. And this site is there online, okay. So what do? Let's now use some concepts, okay. Some concepts of what we're going to do, and I will just perform very few queries. We will continue tomorrow, okay, on this, okay. So now look here, this is where we are, and I really want to kind of connect to this now, right? So if you are going to do this now online, remember the request model, okay. So for that, you need to install request, but for now, don't worry about it. So this is end of the offline thing, okay. So I can actually comment these guys out. Okay, and then we start with the online stuff. Okay, sorry about that. Fine. So let's get back to the online whatever. Okay, online data. Fine. So here what we need to do, we need to import this guy. So I will just say import request. Now if it's not there, you know what to do, pip install request. So we need this. Why? We really need this request object to, we need the get method of this request class, okay, to retrieve the website which we are actually talking about. And again, we have to import our BeautifulSoup. Obviously, we say from BS4, that's how we import it. Import what? BeautifulSoup. Agreed? So this is done. It's better. You see in some tutorials they say R is like kind of the request object. You can type it in full, but remember you cannot type request. So you can maybe like say rec, okay, or something like that. Or you use only R as request object reference, no problem. So I prefer to use rec like this, request. Okay. So is what now? I'll say request dots. Fine. This is what I need. Dot what? Get method. Fine. So this get, did you see the first part is what? Your URL, some parameter and some data. Agreed? Fine. So the main thing is I need the URL. So what is the URL? I better copy the URL from where it is. So I go here. This is it. I'll just click. I'll just say copy. Agreed? So now I keep them side by side. I'll get back here. I just paste that. Oh, remember it's a string, guys. So I paste that there. Fine. Now is there. Okay, so what do? The next step, right? We have to use the same thing now, which we call what? BeautifulSoup what? Method, right? So which was this same thing. So I'm gonna copy this now. Fine. I just come down here. Okay, I'll paste it. Fine. Okay. Now request. Now you see here. So it's no longer content now. You got the point now, guys. Remember, that was how we did that. So I need that what, right? The reference, okay? So I say request dot. So once I do this now, dot content. You see there? It appears. Fine. So no problem. And then what I needed was this. And now you know the reason why we use this, right? Fine. So this is done. I can actually now print this. No problem. I'll just, okay, fine. Print, what is it called? The soup for now. SOUP. Fine. Let's see if we successfully connected to this. We should be able to get it here in the console. Okay. Control Shift F10. All right. And you see we got it. Okay. So we got everything. And what did you notice here? Okay. Many of them now you start seeing hyperlinks. Agreed? So, but in the offline state, we are not able to see those hyperlinks. Yes. Maybe, yeah, yes, we are not able to see them, but what I meant was this color change. I'm not sure, I didn't observe properly, but yes, okay. And we've seen this. Another thing also we can do was just to try to call our prettyfy method also on that, and we say, okay, fine. So this is what we wanted to do. Soup dot what? Prettyfy. Okay. Prettyfy, it should appear dot p. Okay, fine. Okay. And then I'll run the same thing. Okay, this works. Fine. Okay, this is it. All right. Now, what we might want to do, like, we are not interested in all the tags, right? So what we want to do is just to take all the stuff and what? Textual format, right? That's what we saw. So in this case, we're going to use our get text method. So this is fine. I will comment this out. I will copy paste the entire thing, Control C, and then I'll come back here, Control V. Now, what I will do, I'll say soup dot what? Get underscore text. Got the point? Method. That's what I need. Okay. So gets underscore. Okay, so you see there is there. Okay, text. Okay, fine. And it's actually a method. Okay, so for now I will just run this. So you got the point. So it's going to give me only textual information. Now let me maximize this so that you see. So you see all the tags are out, and now you see that the site is poorly designed. Did you get that now? So you see here, welcome to this. Okay, some blank. See, so HT Church of Nazarene test, some blank thing here. Then home, about us. You see, unnecessary stuff here. So this is one of the reasons why people don't like you to scrape their site. Okay. Though when we saw the stuff, guys, please listen. I think I'll print this in two formats. Okay. I will just take out this .text method and just show you what I'm trying to explain. Control Shift F10. Watch here, guys. So here it looks like the site is heavy, right? Like completely nested together. But you can agree with me that, okay, fine. Many of these things are actually out. I mean, they are noise. Okay, they don't really, make sense. Okay? So you see, so many things are here, but that can actually be deleted. Okay, and then this site can kind of be optimized, and it's better load faster. You got the point. That's why you see people get offended when you do what? You got the point now? Yes. So I wouldn't want to say it again. So here you can see it. You can see it for yourself. Okay. Now, this is it. And okay. You got the point now? Okay, fine. So let's say I'm interested in only the title. Okay. Title of this stuff. Okay, look here. So you got the point, what I'm trying to explain. Okay, let's play with this and see what code is going to churn out. So I'm going to comment this out for now, and I'll try to say, okay, fine. I needed this response. I want, that's the request. I just create another response variable. I say for now I'm interested in what now? Title a soup dot what? Ti okay, tle soup dot title. Okay, let me see what I want to do here. Okay, that's holds true. So in this case, I just want to print this response title. Okay, so I'll just say now print. I'll just print this response res. Okay, fine, and let's see what we'll get. Control Shift F10. Okay, now if you see 1 minute, I only went and I chose what now? See here. Okay, the title tag. Okay, fine. So it's Church of the Nazarene, and that was the title. And if you get back here, you see actually sorry, if you go back here, you see that was actually the title. Okay, so see here, it's this one, the title. I believe you know what I'm talking about. Fine. Okay, sorry, I'll just show this and then I'll wind up. I wind up and then we continue tomorrow. Okay, so this is the title, Institute of Nazarene, and that's what we got here. Okay, fine. Now if I wanted, can I say that dot text? There is no need actually. Let me call get text on that, and let's see what it's going to give me. Get underscore text txt. Obviously there's nothing much. It's going to return the same thing. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, it's going to return the same thing, because yes, in case if you return something with a title tag, then I mean, you got my point. We return something with tags, then you can actually use this, okay, to do that. So I think for now, at least you have some little slight understanding of what web scraping is. So tomorrow we're going to continue, okay, on why, I mean, how you kind of do some automation. Say example, control the movement of this page, okay, use some of the CSS selectors, and then work on some of the tags and some of the attributes and some stuff, okay, and try to kind of maybe simulate the click event, the move event, and all whatnot. So because like I said, I don't want to keep this class beyond 8 p.m. all right, so let's try to understand what we did today. Okay, so we started by first looking at what a basic understanding of what maybe I'll use your stuff here, this guy. Okay, 1 minute, I'll just run this from current slide. So we looked at this guy. What did we look at? This fellow. Okay, so web scraping tools, okay, BeautifulSoup and Selenium. Now tomorrow's class we also involve Selenium. It will involve BeautifulSoup hands-on, all right, and it involves some complex behaviors which are going to mimic from the comfort of our desktop only. Okay, we'll be talking to a kind of application that is resident somewhere on the server. Fine. All right. And then web scrape web pages we understood. Fine. Some of the requirements which we have to, you know, like your request and your BeautifulSoup package we have seen. Now the use of requests.get method we have seen. Okay. We have not looked into handling exceptions. So on this note, I think I will just highlight this guy. We have not seen this. Okay. We have not actually seen this stuff, and we have not actually worked on this. Okay. All right, so do you have questions, guys? I wind up and then I will see you guys tomorrow, and the rest after tomorrow will be recorded. Okay, so you should only be seeing it. I mean, it wouldn't be a live session anymore. All right, so yes, on this note we wind up, and yes, if you have questions, feel free to ask, or you can also always contact me offline. All right, take care, guys. Hope this was little helpful to you. Bye for now till I come your way tomorrow. Bye.